Well, I think from a, you know, bigger perspective, I think, he's got a lot of tools and a lot of things in his system and what he does that is very challenging, and that's what makes them such a great team and a great defense. So being um, knowing all of those things he has available, you know, you just really want to trust the rules and trust the preparation of everything that you have. But to just point out this is a really good team, a really good defense, well coached, and it's always a competitive environment going down there.
He's blitzed you at a high rate over the 5 games that you've played, increasingly so over the last three. What are the keys to beat that blitz?
Well, it's just you look inward. You look inward like everything that I've said the last couple weeks. It's about controlling what you can, being on the same page, and ultimately executing at a high level.
How do you feel like, in terms of being on the same page, how do you feel like you and your receivers and protection have been in terms of having answers whenever you are hot versus the blitz?
I think that there are always rooms to is always room to grow in any avenue of that. I don't know what numbers are or um, optically how something looks, but when we sit here and we're very critical of ourselves, we're gonna say we got to improve in this area, and so that's the mentality with that and everything else.
If I can go back to Sunday, there's been a lot of curiosity about your reaction or lack thereof during the touchdown at the end of the game. What's going through your mind as he's running back?
Well, I I mean, I think everybody processes their emotions in different ways. I had a ton of emotion, truly. Um, I was really processing him picking the ball up and running. I had no doubt that he was going to make the play, that somebody was going to make the play, but processing him running, just kind of watching. So, you know, there are a lot of a lot of conversations on the sideline too, as well, even prior to that moment of having a sense of focus on the things that we can improve on too. And so I think also, when you approach it from a bigger, perspective, and you say, where are we and where are the opportunities to improve? I'm also assessing it from that vantage point as well. Just playing a lot of ball, um, having having won a lot of games, and then having lost, games to where you have a boatload and a bulk of experience to lean on. And so I think those are the things that kind of develop our experiences, kind of develop our compass and how we um, navigate and respond to certain things, and I kind of look to the consistency of how as a person in all moments, not just one.
After the game on Sunday, you mentioned getting out of character in reference to a question about sideline interactions. Uh, how do you know when to do that? And is it a fully conscious decision?
Well, it takes discernment. I think it takes discernment for one, and I think secondly, I've gone up here every preseason and told you guys that every year is going to demand a different version of myself, and I'm mindful of all of those different things, and it's just a matter of feeling that, and hopefully, with the preparation and the thought that you've put in before you walk into a situation, you like to think you're thinking right, and so um, you know you can experience things, and you can learn from them, and so I think yeah, that was a moment, that was a, I guess, a moment, for all of us, not just myself, where we're trying to get things going, and then there's an eagerness for that, and so yeah.
Do you think the way you guys were able to kind of open up the offense in the second half against the Rams can kind of, it's kind of backwards, I guess, but open things up for Saquon going forward,
Say that again.
in the running game? Like the way you guys were able to like open up the offense with the passing game in the second half against the Rams, do you think that can help Saquon, in the running game?
Well, I think overall, I don't want to point fingers to one element. Um, of our game, of our offense, because it's not about just one element or one force or one unit. It's just about execution. You know, the standard isn't to produce, it's to execute. So whatever we have going, are we doing the right things within what we're asked to do? And then assessing and saying, hey, can we do some things a little differently when that time shows up? And so I think overall it comes down to execution.
Through it all, you guys have been very effective in the red zone, especially. Um, No matter if you're struggling, when you get in the red zone, it's been very effective. What about that condensed space do you think you guys handle so well?
Well, I think every year is different. Every year is different. You know, it's kind of we've had times where it hasn't been that way, and then right now it just so happens to be that way. And so I think for us as a team, we're just kind of approaching that um, with the diligence. And I think we've kind of been in moments where we've had to figure something out, and we've been able to show up in those moments in the red zone and take advantage of some good opportunities. And so we definitely have a eagerness and some urgency to fill the gaps within our game right now as we continue to grow into the type of team we want to be.
In the offseason, you were asked about taking more ownership over the offense. Do you feel like that when you do get to the line, you know, based upon what the defense may give you a certain look, that you have the necessary freedom and tools to run the offense the way you want?
I think it's grown over time. It's definitely grown over time from an authoritative stance and a tool stance as well. And so, you know, you want to make sure that you have everything available to you to go out there and make a play. I think also that, and not make a play, but, you know, drive the offense, but also knowing that everyone needs to be on the same page to bring that play to life. And so all of those things are important. And I know it starts and ends, you know, with what I do. And so you embrace that. You know, I embrace the uh, the ownership that comes with it, the responsibility that comes with what we do. At the same time, it takes all 11 on the field, nothing more than that. And so if we can all 11 be on the same page, if we are taking in and soaking in, you know, what we're being taught and instructing it in a way where it's received, I mean, that's true alignment.
If I could follow up on that, it would seem no huddle would kind of correspond with that in that you get to the line quicker, defensive personnel doesn't change. You guys were productive out of no huddle. Is that something you think you can do more often?
Um, it's not necessarily a no huddle thing. I wouldn't say that. So I think it's just going out there and playing, going out there and playing, and playing a good brand of ball. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a no huddle thing.
What perspective did film review give you on why things were working so well in the second half?
What? Say that again.
What perspective did film review give you on why things were working so well in the second half?
We had to. uh, you know, we put ourselves in a position, and we approached the game in a different way. And you know, you have games like that. You know, you have games like that, and I think as a unit, you know, we found a way to get it going. And I give a lot of credit to KP in that. Give a lot of credit to KP in that, being able to adjust and see and get us in the direction that we need to be.
Especially early in the season, Nick talks a lot about unscouted looks each year. I imagine this year you saw some stuff that maybe didn't expect to see. How much have you grown with that stuff at the beginning of seasons, those sort of curveballs?
Yeah, I think that's very important. My personal opinion is it's very essential to going out there and processing things and really rooting yourself in the foundation of what you do. And so, you know, when you go out on the field, you know, hope is in the game plan, you know, and worry and fear is in the game plan either. And so going out there and truly feeling confident in having an answer versus anything that they do, that's always, you know, what you're striving for. I think playing the quarterback position and just playing offensive ball, everybody wants to have that sense of security in what we're doing. And then you have times where, you know, they kind of get you, and that's a part of the game, and you learn from it, and you build from that.
It seems Williams' value is as clear when he's not on the field as when he is on the field. What perspective do you have on what makes him so unique out there?
Lane Johnson.
Lane
I
Johnson.
mean, Lane Johnson is Lane Johnson. I heard of Lane Johnson. I mean, it's been years that have gone by where we played together here, but his name has been ringing far before I even gotten here. So he's a hell of a player, and I was actually just talking about him and his routine. And I know he's mentioned or he's applauded me for my routine, but his routine is very, 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 very intentional. He's very consistent. He's very disciplined, and I think that those habits show up in his game. And so he's been able to do that and take the coaching and be able to grow and evolve and age in a different way than everyone else. So it's just a lot of credit to him. And I wouldn't be able to mention him without mentioning Fred and the way he stepped in, because that's something that he was able to do in the past. And so, we're all excited to have him back.
Last one. When it comes to games with extreme heat, what do you find works best for you to maximize your performance?
So I go out there and play.